Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. And they're doors that you get to decide who, what, and how much gets through those doors. The problem is that most of us realize we need boundaries after it's too late, after we've already burned out or blown up or just simply checked out. I did a presentation recently on trauma informed care, compassion fatigue, and emotional intelligence. And after that presentation, after that webinar, the question I got the most had to do with boundaries and how to set them in a professional setting. The good thing is that you don't have to set boundaries for professional settings only. They actually have to start in your everyday life. Today, I'm actually going to show you how setting boundaries is one of the elements of having emotional intelligence. And I'll give you a step by step process on how you could set them without guilt or without drama. Let's clear a big myth first. Boundaries are not, they are not about controlling other people. They are about protecting yourself, protecting your values, protecting your energy, and protecting your, let's face it, your overall well being. Think of them as rules to the game of you, the game of who you are, what's okay for you, what's not okay for you. And then what happens when somebody crosses that line? Without boundaries, you say yes when you really mean no. You overcommit. You become a people pleaser. And that slowly but surely starts to drain the energy out of you. So, how are boundaries an emotional intelligence skill? Because having emotional intelligence or having high emotional intelligence, it's not just about being nice or being understanding. It's about self respect. It's about caring for you first. But in order to do that, you need to know the rules of the game of you. So you have to understand you to be able to set boundaries. You have to have self awareness to know your limits. You need to have self regulation to be able to communicate calmly without snapping at people. And then you have to have empathy so that you can also understand that other people have boundaries as well. And you need to respect those too. When you set your boundaries and you have firm boundaries, you're actually modeling emotional health for the people around you. You are modeling to them, you're signaling to them, and you're teaching them this is how you can respect me, and then this is how I will respect you. Are you ready for that blueprint? Here is a 5-step boundary blueprint so that you could start establishing, if you don't have them yet, start establishing your boundaries. If you have some, but you need to reinforce them, you can use this as well. Step 1, get clear on your limits. Ask yourself, where do I feel resentful, drained, or taken advantage of? Think about that for a bit. If you find that specific scenarios are playing in your head about where you feel drained, taken advantage of, that's telling those are your emotions telling you We need to set a boundary here. Step 2, decide the consequences. What will I do if I set a boundary and somebody crosses it? For example, if somebody calls me at 10 o'clock, I am not going to be answering that phone call. And I might mention it to them the next day. Hey, you know what? I saw you called at 10 o'clock, but I don't take phone calls after 8 o'clock. And that way I've already communicated my boundary to them. If a coworker dumps some extra work on you because they don't want to do it, they want to leave. Hey, you know what? Can you do this for me? Say no without an explanation. No, I can't. I have to go. You don't owe them an explanation. They're the ones that should be considerate of your space, which they are not, because they don't see that you have set a boundary there. Or if you have, there's no clarity of a boundary. So you just have to make it clear. Step number 3, communicate clearly and calmly. Clear and calm communication. Use your I statements. I feel, you enter your emotion when you enter the action. For example, I feel overwhelmed when my work spills into my weekends. Going forward, I'm going to have to leave it at work and tend to it when I get back. Simple, clear, calm. Step number 4, hold the line without guilt. If you don't have boundaries set for yourself, expect pushback. Because guess what? That's going to be inconvenient for them. Expect the pushback, but maintain the line. Stay consistent. They'll eventually get it. They'll start to realize, oh, you know what? This I tried this last time and it didn't work, so maybe I'm going to have to do the work for myself. Step number 5. If you want people to respect your boundaries, guess what? You got to respect their boundaries. This also builds trust, because if you expect people to honor your boundaries, you got to honor theirs. It's a sign of mutual respect, and that is going to help your relationship. That's going to build trust. Real life example here. Let's say you have a friend who calls you to vent constantly. They call you. It's like you're the only person who has the patience to sit and listen to them venting about their life dilemmas. But those phone calls usually go into late at night. You get up early in the morning, you have to go to work, maybe you have to get your kids ready, whatever the reason might be. You get up early. This friend is constantly talking, so you don't get off the phone until very late. You start to realize that you're waking up cranky, in a bad mood in the morning. Maybe you're exhausted, you didn't get enough sleep. What would you do in that situation? Well, if you are wanting to establish a boundary, wanting to set a boundary in a situation like that, you don't have to be ugly about it. You don't have to be disrespectful about it. You don't have to avoid your friend. You don't have to end that friendship. But before you start feeling resentful about that friendship, that relationship, communicate it to them. Set your boundary. You can say something like, you know, I love you as my friend. I care for your well-being. I'm noticing though that when we have those late conversations, I don't feel all that great in the morning. Can we possibly start our conversations earlier in the day so that I could get to bed at a decent time to get up early? Do you think that might work? I do. So let's just close this out with a reminder. Boundaries are not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. Boundaries are actually an act of self-love, because what that says is that I love myself enough to protect my energy, to protect my emotional well-being, and I'm going to set those boundaries. And I will decide who, what, and how much of this or that can get into my space. So if you had been thinking that boundaries were selfish, how about you try to reframe that? Pull that back a little bit. Switch your perspective on that and remind yourself, setting boundaries for myself is an act of self-love, because I do care about myself. I do want to be better so that I could be better with everybody around me, so that I could be better with my kids, so that I could be better with my coworkers, so that I could be better with my friends, so that I could be better with my spouse. And here's the truth. When you protect your time, when you protect your energy, and when you protect your peace, when you protect all of those good things about you, you're going to have more of that to give to the people that you truly care about, and to projects and tasks that really matter to you. Because you won't have to be worrying about resentment, and you won't have to have all of these ugly feelings, because they're not there anymore, because you have set your boundaries. People are going to know, oh, I can't call Susan after 7 o'clock because she's not going to answer. No, she's not. Here's your challenge for this week. Choose one area where you feel like you may be overextending yourself. Drop it in the comments if you want to share. I'd love to hear. But choose one area where you feel like you are overextended. Figure out how you can set a clear boundary. Just one. It can be a small one. Figure that out and then implement it. Once you've put it in place, and if you put it in place, you will know, because it's going to feel different than what you had been doing. And I want you to pay attention what your feelings are after you have put that boundary in place, because you're going to notice. You are going to notice, because that is not something that you had felt before. And it's going to feel great. It's going to be freeing, because you're not going to have to carry that resentment with you. Because the moment you start protecting your peace, it's valuable. Your peace is valuable. Once you start protecting that, you're going to start living with power. You're going to start living with confidence. And that's going to feel good. I'm Susan from the EQ Classroom. And remember, emotional intelligence isn't something you just know. It's not even anything you're really necessarily born with. It's a skill. And it's something you have to practice. Remember that. And remember to lead with heart, grow with purpose. I'll see you next time.